solid. On the one day, not so much. Well, hmm, 10 to 11, decline to and through, sideways rotation, a little bit of sideways rotation, and then we attempt to establish support. Looks like it was to the upside though. I was expecting it to the downside, and then we have this sideways S formation right around the close, the Queen of Cups, which is decline, incline, decline, right? It's decline, incline, decline, or you could even say right around the close, decline, incline, decline. Either way, it's a Queen of Cups energy, and I guess this is really how we should read that. This move to the upside in the post market makes sense. Um, and I was a little uncertain on how to read that, just because it was a strange. It was strange. Like normally I would have placed it here, but for whatever reason I placed it there, and there's like this gap of time, like kind of represented by these three cards. It was a little strange. I wasn't sure how to read it, but off of the low, significant move to the upside, pushing the upper end of a range higher, and then it looks like the high is somehow uh, it's a period of volatility that ends with a fast sudden move higher, and it's somehow nullified. My sense is that we probably it's pretty price swingy in the morning on the 5th. Prince of Discs on the 1 month. I think this is like a peak at the end of the day after a lot of sideways movement, a big move to the upside at the end of the day, and then we gap down the following day on the 6th. Let's see how that translates on the 1 days. So establishment of support, or key support on a more than a 1 day kind of scale here, represented by the Emperor card. And then we have like this price swinging going on. That's very sideways rotation-y. And then at the end of the day, a big move to the upside. After these price swings with a high and a low midday, it looks like a big move to the upside. We may have a high there. And that's represented. This is kind of like when I have for those of you that are interested in what the markups mean and how to read these, when I have a translucent, like a thick translucent color, it represents the previous day's nullified card may have relations to the next day on the reading. And that's what we're seeing there. It doesn't always hold true, so it's like translucent. When I use translucent, it's kind of like a moderately reliable. It's more iffy. But I think probably with this big move at the end of the day, and then more move at the end of the day, like a pop and drop here in the last hour, but then out of that decline, there's a big move to the upside, and then we failed attempts to break through key resistance. So it looks like price swinging throughout the day, and then a big move to the upside at the end of the day holds pretty true. And then we want to see a gap down the following day. It's a nullified. Interesting. This is a nullified night, and this is a nullified night. Now, the following day is pretty decliney. So we either open lower. We either open lower and there's a big move higher and then failed attempt to break through resistance and then down, or we open higher and that rally kind of ends with a failed attempt to break through key resistance and then move down to a low for the day. Hey guys. Hey B. Hey AV. Oh, my bad, AV. Interesting. Will they continue to be bullish in July? This is LFMD. Sorry about that, my friend. Yeah, they shot up. I think probably I would still go with what I was saying. I might have just been a little early. Is a lot that happens sometimes. Is I'll be a little early on these like yes or no questions. They're interesting, but you're asking, will they continue to be bullish in July? You feel strongly to, you have a temptation to chase the rally. What will they do in July? There's a support level in July that's highlighted. Interesting. And a key technical price level on a multi-day kind of scale, like a year-to-date kind of scale, with a big drop. I think we probably have a like this is going to be an important price level around these levels right here. Let's see if this lines up with anything really. Yeah, I see this peak. There's like a peak here that ends. This becomes an important technical price level, and then we have a key support that's highlighted. It may be that we establish support here at like at a higher level, but lower than where we are now, but at a higher support than what we were bouncing off of before this big move to the upside. It's possible. Maybe here. But I see decline in July. I'm doing well, B. How are you? What day did those Amazon puts expire again? Yeah. It's hard to say just when it's going to happen because I only have the 1 year to go on here for Amazon until next month. And that's if I get it done. My God, guys, there's so much work with this editing. I'm editing the videos so that they're easier to watch. But my God, does it take a lot of time. I don't have the means to hire an editor yet. For that, I need more subscriptions. Let's see here. Well, it hit 110 this week. Oops, left the card out. See, the thing about the early part of July is that we have an important trough that comes into play, and we have a failed attempt to break through key resistance. So that tends to be like technical, like, or a rally that looks like it's going higher, but instead it turns around and it declines rather than going through resistance. But I think that'll only be temporary, and then we have a higher, like we move in through some mixed behavior throughout July. We move into a highest high on the cusp of July, August. But there's a trough in there in early July, and it happens at a key resistance. We decline from key resistance with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down. That looks like a key resistance to me. Right here. Let's see how that lines up. little above still. Oh, actually, that's a little. We're right at key resistance. So I think it looks like there's a lot of temptation to go higher here, to like jump in and chase this rally, but there's going to be a trough. Will it hit 110 this week? I gotta know. So it's probably next week that we do a trough, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's to 110. Hey APM, welcome. How will SPC perform in July? Is today a good entry point? Let's take a look. I would say, looking at it, it looks like a good entry point. I'm surprised we went this low, though. Must say, I'm definitely surprised. Oh, that's 2024. Get that out of the way so it stops confusing me. There we go. Matter of fact, let me get out that 1 year too. I'd say it's looking, just based on what I know is happening with SPC moving forward in the next couple months, I'd say it's a pretty good opportunity in here. Is it the best? Might we see lower? That's what I want to know. Oh, I wouldn't get faked out here, guys. Like, there's a significant reversal in early July, and it looks like we're pretty lined up for an early July reversal right around where we are. There's into late July. There's a rally that increases with momentum moving forward in time. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. There's like this big move from July into August, and the highs forms from a fast sudden move higher. The low of July forms when we have a failed attempt to break through key resistance, followed by a decline through key support. Yeah, and that's very much like the disappointment. So the way that technicals have kind of set us up, right here, you think that we were gonna. This is the failed attempt to break through key resistance into the low for July, right? So failed attempt to break through key resistance, but it's the disappointment resistance. So in other words, like technicals make it seem that like we're gonna break through, but instead we don't. We turn around and we decline through usually a support that was falsely established. So that's what's taking place. We've got this like decline into here. We might see just a little bit lower. It's possible, or we might not. I would say it's a decent entry point to get in. We might go a little lower, but overall there's a reversal in early July, as foretold by the fortune card, and then it looks like we've already established. Like we've already fulfilled the chart behavior necessary to call it a low. That doesn't mean that we don't go lower, but we're near a low based on the chart behavior. And we should have a rally that increases with momentum out of this reversal in early July, a rally that increases with momentum moving forward in time, and a fast sudden move higher taking us to a high for July. So I would say it's a good entry point, yeah. Yeah. It's a good entry point. I got the success card. Will LFMD hit a certain price level, 550, before dropping? Oh, I missed that UPST. Sorry. Well, LFMD hit a certain price level before dropping, and the price level is. You want to know what price level it is? $5. Ooh, I got the Unicursal for $5. That's pretty much spot on. I would say $5, and then there's a sharp drop off of that. Do I still have that one up? I don't think I do. Proof. I'll come back to you in just a moment. I didn't miss you. I just AV's a paid. I don't know what you would call it, a paid member on YouTube. So he pays for priority answers here. So I got to come back to you in just a minute here. So almost had it. 550 and 5. It's very toppy. We might see it go a little bit higher, but I would say around the $5 mark is really where you want to. It was a unicursal energy, so you really want to be careful around that. That's a sharp drop usually. Either that, or if you go higher, it's a price level that when we do have the sharp drop, the next sharp drop, it'll go through that price level to the downside. And then well, LPST. Didn't I say UPST to stay in UPST? I feel like UPST was still bullish. UPST will remain bullish in July. I got a yes. It's going to revisit a support level, and there should be a sharp drop around that revisiting, but it's a yes as well, so it's kind of a mixed sideways thing. But let me do another one here. It's mixed. It's pretty mixed, but it looks like bullish price swings for UPST. Coin's been on a tier. Do I still see lower than 40 later this year? Matter of fact, let me just grab proof and then I'll get into those. Hi, will BTC start to fall for the rest of the day? Okay. So what we're probably seeing already here is that big move, that unexpected move to the upside that takes place. Oh, well, yeah, we're on the 3rd, so that's exactly what it was. It's the unexpected move to the upside there. There's a brief peak on the 3rd that's easily missed, followed by a decline through key multiple supports. But then So we go lower, and then towards the very end of the day, there's a spike up. I think probably we've already met the peak here on the third, though, that we talk about here on the third. I think we probably already met that peak. It's, remember, it's a brief peak that's easily missed, followed by a decline through key support. So if you've got good profits, for like a short term, like couple day swing trade type of deal, if you're looking for profits, that might be a good place to exit. The Princess of Wands is another theme card that's it's a little bit difficult to read because there's so much that can happen with the princess. It's very mixed. It speaks about opportunities, so you could have a lot of rally and then a drop, or a lot of rally before a drop the following month, or you could have just a little bit of rally and then a big drop like the remainder of the month. It's difficult to determine like right off the bat with the theme being in the theme position, but I think overall this is pretty bullish. We have highs at the end of the month. um, I do see some sort of decline in here though, like around the cusp here of the third, fourth. All right, coin. I was covering coin for a while. I should probably do the 2024 for coin. See how we're doing. Big move there. Yeah, okay, so big move there. But this is like a tricky fake out. This is an intentional fake out shakeout, and we should turn around with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down into. There's a pretty big move to the downside there off of a peak or crest, and you got to be careful. This unicursal around the high. This is really a place where there's probably a sharp drop into August, or around the end of July into the cusp of August. And we should probably see a pretty big decline based on where we are. It might not be a lowest low, but there is quite a bit of possibility here of a lowest low. Yeah, see, this will be a significant sell off here. So it's going to be either a lowest low that we sell off into, or it's going to be a really prominent low that's going to stand out amongst the other lows of the year. And I'm advised to take profits. There's a trade opportunity in early July when we have a breakout, like specifically when we have a breakout. There's a trade opportunity. So I would say you want to take this trade opportunity if you're looking to take profits in coin. Probably now would be a good time to do so on like a multi-day kind of scale. You can hop back into it around the cusp. We can hop back into it after a significant decline through multiple support levels, and we'll be doing some like crisscrossing back and forth through the same price level in early August. You could get back into it in early August. Because it does look like we go higher. Into September. Do I still see lower than 40 this year? That is pretty damn low. it's difficult to determine really because we've got this sideways rotation as the overall theme. So a lot of sideways, we're going to have multiple highs that are near each other and multiple lows that are near each other. I would say there's going to be a sell off here into what'll be one of the lows. Do we see below $40? My instinct is saying no. Oops, let me face these the right direction. I got a no for that. How about 50? Sort of like a yes, but a maybe, but leaning towards yes. 55. Yeah, so maybe like the $55 range there. At least on this next low that we see around the end of July or August, probably $55 range. It's tricky though because there's a highest high here in September, so we go from like this trough. You don't want to miss out on an even bigger move to the upside to a highest high. But then again, the highest high is probably going to be right around, based on the sideways rotation, it's probably going to be right around these same price levels, maybe a little higher, maybe like in the 90s or something. The Bitcoin July reading on the website can't be played. Interesting. Okay, I'll check that out. Appreciate you letting me know, Proof. I'll get somebody on that right away. Is it Proof? Is it that you don't have access to it, or is it like there's some sort of bug and the file is not working? What do you mean PT? Pattern? Are you talking about a pattern trade? What do you mean PT? Oh. Price target, right? So the thing about price targets, guys, is the sequence of events is substantially more accurate. So you don't want to plan your trades using SO meta analysis based on price targets. You want to plan your trades with SO meta analysis based on chart behavior and fulfillment of chart patterns. With that said, you can get a guesstimation of the price level, and so we're looking for a price level for UPST. Let's see. Let's see, 50. Oh, let's do that over because my cards were upside down. I don't like that. That was the Aeon card that was upside down, so it can be a little tricky. So, do we see the $40 range? Yes. And that might be the top. Do we see the $50 range? No. 45? No. Well, that's... that's a yes but cautious. So I'd say around 40 is probably a resistance that we poke through momentarily, and then we break back down through it, creating like a peak or high there. But $40 is probably the top there. Well, a little bit above $40, I should say. It is a bullish. It is doing something bullish here, guys. On like a multi-year kind of scale. It has broken through the 200-day moving average. And we see the 50 go through the 200. If we see the 100 go through the 200, this white line go through the 200, I'd say that's significantly bullish. But it's around the $40-$45 range, I would say, is at least the near top, the near term top there. Is that adequate, AV? Is that what you were looking for? All right, guys. I'm gonna fly through Wednesday real quick. So again, these are going to be price swings. Let me get this out of the way. Right, we've got like sideways price swinging behavior going on the 5th, with like a fast sudden move higher towards the end of the day, and then we gap down, or we have a sharp decline like the following day. But I think probably gap down and decline. It's mixed towards the end of the day on the 6th. So you want to know what the overall behavior is going to be for UPST in July. I thought we did that. Unicursal again. Yeah, I get the prudence card, so it's caution. It's going to be mixed. I'm getting a lot of mixed cards. A lot of mixed cards with an eventual decline there for UPST in July. Would Bitcoin drop under 29K tomorrow? All right, well, there was that Hermit card. It came just a little bit before the 1st, like 30th. And then we have this. Came on the 3rd. I don't think we go below 29,000. No, I don't think it ends up being a lower low based on what's transpired. Will Bitcoin drop under 29K tomorrow? It's a sharp drop. I don't know about under 29K though. It's hard to say. I'm not getting clear enough answer for you, unfortunately. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what I was gonna do, AV. I follow. Okay, so It's pretty mixed. And we either open lower or we decline into like a trough there and then move higher out of the open, followed by more decline into a low. The low and the high are within close time proximity to each other midday. And then we might see highs here at the end of the day. This is these what do you call them? Translucent, thick translucent highlights indicate correlations to a prior day's high that was nullified. I only do that if it's nullified. I'll go check out the following day because sometimes it holds up, but it's not as strong as the same day correlations, which are these thin, solid colored highlights. Overall mixed with a big move to the upside at the end of the day. Yeah, there's that lust card, and then we go to like from moving to the upside in the pre-market on the 6th to the downside and a low there, and then there's a lot of price change to a high from the low. But yeah, overall I would say as far as a trade on the 5th, you want to trade the high. Okay. So after we meet the high midday, there's a pretty strong decline off of that high between like 12:30 into like the 1 to 2 o'clock hour. That offers an opportunity to open up a long position. We most likely revisit that high at the end of the day or the following day in the morning. And you could use whatever the high is, midday's price level high. You could utilize that as the exit. So the decline off of that high, when you feel that it's gone substantial enough that you see a good enough profit between where it is and the price level of the high that takes place here midday. So we decline off of it. When you feel the risk and the reward ratio is good enough, hop in on the long side, and it should come back to this price level either at end of day or somewhere early in the day on the 6th. And I would use this price level, the price level of the high here midday as the exit price level when exiting that long position. Is the month low on the 6th or later in the month? It's hard for me to tell because it's a very mixed month. Originally, I was thinking it's here on the 20th, 21st. But there's quite a few other July readings where there's a low around here, but it's not a lowest low. And in those July readings, the lowest low is here. So it's kind of mixed. We may come close to a lowest low, or this might be a lowest low. It's hard for me to determine if it's going to be here on the 5th, 6th, or here on the 20th, 20th, 21st. It's probably the 20th, 21st. But I am getting some like I am picking up on a sharp drop or a pretty prominent low here on the morning of the 6th. All right, guys. With that said, I'm going to roll. Thank you so much for watching. For those of you that are new, always remember this information is here for use for you to do well for yourself, but always as part of doing well for others. You can do well for yourself, and there's nothing wrong with doing well for yourself, but you have to find a way to make sure that doing well for yourself does well for others. That's a key to success. One of the keys to success, if you ask me. You're welcome, Woder. Thanks for watching. So with that said, what I expect is that when people utilize this information for profit, they're taking 5% of that profit and they're donating forward to one of these charities here on our website, Tarot for Traders, under the resources tab. And then 5% of the profit should be donated back to the channel here at one of these links. If you're international, you can use Wise. That leaves you at 90% of the money left over. Make sure to spend that money out of love. As long as you do that, my friends, the universe is going to send it back to you tenfold through this channel. I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a